Hello everyone, this is Mule. I'm going to give you a quick overview of an excellent ARMA 3 feature called Zeus, which will be getting released very soon. They said it would get released sometime right around the Win campaign, so hopefully by the time you're watching this video it's already out and available for everyone. If not, it is available to use on the ARMA 3 development branch, and it is fairly stable, so I would recommend giving it a try either way. So for this, I'm just going to go through the basic functions of Zeus, just so you have a good idea about what you're doing. And in another video, I will discuss, scenario development and design, and the kind of philosophy that I have about playing Zeus. Now, Zeus is a game master or dungeon master type scenario where one person controls everything, spawns enemies, controls the enemies, controls AI friendlies, all that kind of stuff, to create the best possible scenario for his friends to play. At least that's the way that I look at it. You can also play it as kind of a confrontational game where Zeus is trying to mess the players up and basically fighting the players. I don't prefer to play it that way. I prefer to use it as a means to overcome a few of ARMA's shortcomings in terms of basically pacing, making sure that there's a lot of action, and making sure that engine problems don't frustrate the players when they're playing. Things like, if you've ever had a situation where you're playing ARMA, you have a sweet gun, you want to go rifle through someone's pack to try to get some grenades, and you accidentally press the wrong button and your gun disappears into the geometry of the world, and you've got the wrong gun and you've got no ammo. Those kind of things happen occasionally, and Zeus can really help mitigate that because it allows me to spawn things for the players. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to set up a Zeus game. You go ahead and start a multiplayer game just like you normally would. I will host a new session. I'm going to just create this one as a LAN because I won't have anyone joining me. So go ahead and go OK. And I can choose Stratus or Altus. I have a few modded missions. I won't go into those in this particular video, but these modded missions by NM Danny, there are a bunch of other ones out there, but I like these ones. Because what he did was he added a few scripts and the virtual ammo box. If you've never used virtual ammo box, it is awesome. But also there's fast roping and some other cool things in those modded ones. But we'll just go to a regular ZGM, which means Zeus Game Master, and go ahead and pick Blue Form. Now ZVP is Zeus versus players, so that's when Zeus is fighting the players and trying to control the AI in an already established scenario, the standard scenarios that came with ARMA. But in this case we'll use ZGM. We'll click play and it's going to give me a list just like normal. I'll go to Zeus and choose that. Now there's Game Master and there's Game Moderator. The Game Moderator is kind of a secondary character who will be able to help Zeus out and moderate what's going on. I don't ever play with one. I could see if I had a lot of players having one being really useful. Somebody else who could edit things. Now if I go up to parameters, this is very important. I have to look at what options I have here. God mode, Zeus starts with everything unlocked. I like to enable that because if it's disabled, it means at the beginning I can't spawn tanks, I can't spawn helicopters necessarily, so it limits what I can do, and what I really want to do is be able to do everything I can to make a cool mission for my friends. So I'm going to enable God mode. When I'm feeling really saucy, I can be a real dick. It happens sometimes, but usually it's to the benefit of the players, usually. Game moderator rights, this is what the moderator can do. I can make it so the moderator can create anything and basically be another Zeus running around. I can say that they can only edit things that I've created, so they can't kind of work against me. Or they can create only modules, and modules are a special class of items. So I'm going to go ahead and say can create everything, even though there's no moderator in this one, so it doesn't matter. Type, this is a cooperative mission as opposed to deathmatch. Okay, so the players are cooperating instead of fighting each other. Distance from players, Zeus cannot edit. I always make this 0. It's that blue halo around players that says if it's at 100, I cannot place anything within 100 meters of them, which means if my players request a vehicle, for example, or they need one, or they drop their gun and they can't find it, I can't spawn a new one for them within 100 meters. Forget about that. I'd rather be able to just do whatever I need to do. And then obviously independence, the green force, are they going to be friendly to anybody? Are they going to be enemies of everybody? Standard stuff, okay? So I'm going to go back and start this mission here. What it's going to do is it's going to drop me somewhere randomly on the map, and I'm going to have to pick a respawn point for my players. I only have 60 seconds before it automatically places a random spawn point. So I really need to kind of have an idea about where I want to spawn, because if I don't, I'm going to be stuck with a spawn point out in the middle of nowhere that might not be where I necessarily want to play. Now, you could make it a challenge to yourself to say, okay, wherever it tells me to spawn the guys, I'm going to create a mission in that area. But for me, I'd rather just have the ability to spawn wherever I want. So let's see here. Okay, it's going to put me by the power plants, which is great. I like starting off at the airfield because it kind of seems like a good starting point, particularly the military airfield. So like I said, within 60 seconds, I can create whatever spawn point I want for players. Now, there is a spawn point option. Now, you see a bunch of stuff just showed up here. I'll go over them. This is the modules menu, by the way. Respawns are in here. I can create a vehicle respawn point. So if a vehicle gets destroyed, and I've said that vehicle should respawn itself, it will respawn right there. Okay. And then I can create loadouts. What loadouts does is allows me to choose what my players can respawn as. So if I want to, basically say, hey, I want to be able to let them have an anti-material rifle, and have them spawn as a sniper. I can have them spawn as, any of the riflemen. It will tell them what is in the kit before they spawn, right? I can have an AA guy, AT. We can say, I don't want you to be a marksman. I don't know why I would say that, but I could say that. But I will let you be a UAV operator. Or we can do something like, if we want to be diabolical, let's create a scenario where our soldiers are crewmen of a destroyed vehicle or a damaged vehicle, and that's all they can spawn as. So they just spawn with the crewman thing, if I want. Okay? So that's another option that I have. So basically, you choose your options for your players, you click OK, and when they spawn in, they'll have a choice of any of those things that they can be. Another thing that we can do here is if I go to units and then go to empty, it lets me spawn a bunch of empty stuff. Empty includes ammo caches. So if I want to let them resupply themselves, I can drop a, let's see, special weapons for NATO. And it's going to pop up with a little the items that are going to be in that. So cargo manifest, right? This is going to come with the underwater rifle, Mark 18, a CHATAC 408. And then I can edit the quantity of those things up to the maximum. This box is absolutely full, but you can see up here, pretty much every item is on the list, uniforms even, backpacks, all that kind of stuff. So that spawned a little weapon box for me. Okay, the support box is the one that I like to use because it's mostly empty. So if I want to, my guys say, hey, I want some backpacks, I can go in here and I can, let's drop some backpacks in there. Okay. And we'll let you have some, I've got some modded stuff in here, so when you see something you don't have, that's just the mod stuff. But I'll add some 45s, and then you might want to add some ammo for those. So that's the 11-round mag. And then those things will all be in that box. So you can let your guys kit themselves out or set up ammo caches and supplies for them to pick up. The other thing that you can do is you can airdrop. So if I hold the Alt key before I click on this, it lets me lift it up and then release. And that wasn't high enough, so it just destroyed the thing. So that was kind of amusing. If I go higher, it will actually create a parachute. And a little jet sound and drop that for me. Alright, so that's one way you can get supplies to players. Anyway, I digress. Let's go back to the modules menu and show us some of our other options. So when I'm creating a scenario, I have scenario flow, so I can create a briefing for them. This will pop up when I click on it, and it will say, okay, this is a Blue 4 briefing. I can use a recent, so it'll automatically set things up for me, or I can create my own new one. Type in a title, type a briefing description, and then use an image for it. And you can put in your own images into your ARMA folder and use those. Okay, so that means that this will appear every time a player connects to the game. There's also end scenario. I can set up respawn tickets, standard type scenario control stuff. I also have objectives. So I can say, create a custom objective for my players on this ammo box. If it fell to the ground, looks like it probably fell somewhere where I didn't want it to go. But I can create a custom objective and assign it to Blue 4 that says gear up. Now these are all different custom objectives I've created before for them, so they're already in the list, but you can also type in your own and it will appear in this list then for future use. This will tell my players to gear up when they go there. Okay. So what else can I do with this? Well, we've got some environmental effects. Post-processing changes the look of the game, black and white, a little annoying. Mediterranean's a little brighter. This is the campaign filter, I believe, the East Wind. It used to be called ARMA 3 Campaign. And I can change the weather, so I can make a nice rainy environment. Darkens things up, the clouds are all over, it'll start raining here in a few seconds. So you can really create a little environment. I can set tracers out, which creates a little bit of a simulator, firing machine gun. You can do that in a distance to create the effect of a battle. You can play audio. So if I want to play some alarm battlefield sounds, that's kind of cool. Play radio messages and music. Those are self-explanatory. I can put some animals out if I want to have some sheep just hanging around. I don't want to give my players any ideas, but there they are, hanging out in the rain. And then I can also call in fire support manually, which is very cool, because I can use that as a game master. My players can tell me a grid square, and I can say, okay, I'm going to fire a ranging shot, you have mortars available, and it gives me a nice little radius. The orange radius indicates a wounding potential. Closer to the center is obviously more dangerous. You can play some fairly quickly if you want. And they always hit exactly in the center of where you put it, so you kind of get a good feel for how you can have the enemy, for example, drop some mortars close into your guys without really killing them, but rattling them a little bit. I do that a lot. Now if I use howitzer, there's a red circle. That's the absolute, everybody in that circle will die for sure. The rest of it is wound shrapnel radius. For 155, it's pretty big, just like in real life, so keep that in mind. Now the 230mm rockets, they have a direction that they come in on, and they have a very large radius. You'll see the rocket coming in from this direction. There it is. Very cool strike. I did a scenario recently where I had them laze targets for rocket strikes from on top of a hill at night. It was very cool. You can also destroy things, and they've got these close air support runs, which are incredibly cool. My favorite new feature. You get to choose what kind of plane you're going to use. We'll use the A-10 here, the A-164 Wipeout, and it gives you a direction. The plane is going to come from that direction. I can change the direction using Shift, and then now they're going to come from that direction. And in about 10 seconds, we'll see the plane coming in. It'll dive in and make the run on that radar dish. There it is. Defensive missiles, and standing, no radiation. So that's pretty cool. It's cool to be able to give your guys close air support. It's terrifying to them when they're under attack from close air support. So we can really create a cool feeling scenario with all these fire support options. You can also use things like parachute flares, which I think is a little too bright to really see. You can kind of see it up there. That'll illuminate the area around them. We can drop smoke. I wish that they let us drop artillery smoke. I'm sure that's an option that will come eventually. What this does is it just spawns a smoke grenade in that spot. There we go. Smoke grenade. On the ground. We can also do things like spawn buildings. We can spawn mines. We can spawn explosives. Let me show you what that looks like. Those are actually under the empty category. Empty is anything that is not a soldier or occupied vehicle for one of the sides. So let's see here. Explosives. I've got an IED urban. It creates a little pile of trash. Alright, and under that pile of trash is a nasty explosive. There we go. Artillery shell looks like a 155 wired up. And players can notice that, or they can not notice that, and then you command detonate it with one of your custom hotkeys. In my case, it's N. And you can use that to really mess with your players. If I do multiple IEDs, you just select it. But also, you can put a satchel charge down, put a explosive charge down, and if I select both. So there's a lot of opportunity here for you to mess with your players. Also mines. all the mines that are available in the game, including the naval mines, which look freaky if you put them on land because they just kind of float there. But you can put all those different things in the game as you want. So, April's mine. Create a little minefield for your guys to walk in. You can see the mine there. Had one of my players recently discover a mine, wonder if he could shoot it, shot it a little too close. It was hilarious. So you create a minefield for them. You can create IEDs. You can create awesome wrecks, airplanes, BRDMs, things that aren't even in the game right now. Old Soviet equipment here. And you can also build structures. So I can create if I thought that I should have a barracks over here, create a barracks. It's got a full interior because this building has an interior. So you've got rooms and hallways. You can do some CQB. So you can create your own little town if you want to. Camouflage net. Come up the side here. It's a really fun thing to play with, this 3D editor. Really lets you mess around with things and make them cool, make them your own. Under empty, there's also empty vehicles, as I mentioned, and also the ammo crates. So I can put an explosives crate under here. Alright. And then I can, let's say, make a CSAT. It uses ZMAC transport. Alright. I use shift again to rotate it how I want to. And then I'll place it under the, no, that won't quite work. So I'll go more that way. Place it under the camo net. Oh, made the camo net fall down. Unfortunately, the only way to fix that is by actually deleting it and creating it again. We'll use the vehicle camouflage net this time. There we go. It's a little bit taller. So now that truck is hidden in the camera nets. So obviously there's a lot to play with. A lot of different options here. Okay. Hold shift and change things around. And then also, as I said, Alt will let you change the height of things. So if I want to populate some bad guys in this barracks here, I can go to Units, CSAT, right here, Op 4, and go to Men, and let's see, we'll put a marksman out on the balcony here. Now, it placed him on the ground, but if I hold Alt and lift him up, it will actually snap him to the floor, or at least it tries to. Oops, that didn't work. For some reason, this building does not want to cooperate with me. I'm curious about that. There are a few bugs still. It's not yet released. If I hold Alt here, let's see if this building is at all. Nope, this building is incorporeal, so I'm going to delete that and see if maybe, well, we'll just use this as an example. I've never had that particular issue before, something that I'll investigate. Put them up on the roof here. I can change his facing with Shift. Oops. We're going to sometimes speed it up. No, let's go over there. Oh, we'll use this. Use Shift to change his facing. Double click on him, and it lets me add the guy. I can make him crouch. This is the automatic setting. Change his rank, so in case I put him in a squad, it determines who obviously is in control of that squad, AI-wise. Change his skill, change his health, and make him a respawn point for his fellows. So this guy will now crouch because I told him to. And he's going to hang on up there. Put an officer inside. He's going to be inside of this thing. Alright. I will force him to stand, because otherwise when you're inside a building and the fighting starts, they always lay down, which is a little annoying. And he's going to hang out in there right now. And then I can put now if I choose ZMAC transport from the Op 4 list, it will give me one with a guy in it. Driver. Okay. Whereas if I choose it from empty, it will give me an empty one. Up here at the top. ZMAC transport. Empty. And there's the empty one. Alright. So when you're creating scenarios, be creative, add a little bit of verisimilitude, tell a bit of a story if you can. I'll do a little scenario writing guide as a follow-up video to this. This is mostly to show you how to get around. On that note, it is kind of a general WASD. Q goes up, V goes down. Rolling the mouse wheel, zooms in and out. Holding the right mouse button makes me able to look around. And if I go to my map, I can hold the middle mouse button and it will change where my camera is looking. So I can over here and here I am. Go back to the map. and teleport back. That's a great feature. Now, if I'm moving and I hold shift, it lets me move twice as fast, which is great. So that's the general overview of that. Now, let me see. I'm going to create another objective. We'll do a control sector here. We'll make the area smallest I can, and the conquerors will be blue 4 and op 4. So this is one of those sectors that's going to change hands, and we'll call it. Let's see. We'll call it command post. Now that'll create an objective for blue 4 and op 4 to fight over objective Charlie, and objective Charlie is now on my list here. I can click on it and go directly to it. If I had players, they would get the objective to go and take this over. Okay. Now it lets me know that that is red, controlled by red 4. Okay. So now another cool thing that happens is I can go into groups, and I'll create a blue 4 infantry group. It'll just be a sentry team. Okay. So that'll drop 2 guys together who are already linked. Okay. Linking guys is done with the control key, so they're linked right now. If I hold control and drag this guy away, it will unlink them, and then I can link them again. Boom, now they're linked. And I can go into modules and go to Zeus, and click remote control, and let's see which guy I want to do. Should be a grenadier here. Yep, I'll be a grenadier. And it lets me take control of this guy just as if I was playing. And the other guy will probably move with me, or at least do the best the AI can do. So now me and this guy over here can assault this position. Yes, this is a cool way to create your own little custom game without having to worry about using the editor or worrying about how the editor works. So it's your own little 3D editor to create your own little battlefield. Now, fortunately, I know exactly what the bad guys are, but you know, I can play this just like any other regular mission. That'll break them out a little bit. Oh, there we go.
Target neutralized.
Doesn't have quite all the features.
Attack that truck. Contact truck.
Of a regular game, for example. My guy just told his compatriot to attack the truck. I wasn't able to control that. The AI is doing that. I also cannot edit my menu options at all.
Fire at the officer.
I can't control my inventory menu, so I cannot pick up things as this guy. Whoop, there's the other guy.
2, attack that rifleman.
Where did the rifleman escape to? I'm cheating a little bit by using third person, but I like the way that it looks. Oh, I'll clear inside. So at this point, you're just watching me play, but I'm trying to. There we go. Trying to show what just got shown, not me dying horribly, but. The command post is being captured by blue 4. I'm not really sure why it did that, but now I can control the bad guys as well. And this is what I typically do. I typically go ahead and control the bad guys as Zeus and fight my players. I'm going to get this guy killed right now. I use him to throw grenades, so they're going to make my guys tougher. This guy's pretty bad. There we go. So now blue 4 has captured this objective, and he did that for me. Everything was great. And we've got a nice little burning wreck and all that cool stuff. Alright. So as far as this is concerned, I mean, that's the basics for it. Creating objectives, creating respawns, setting what loadouts your players can spawn in as, making up for the AI's deficiencies by basically controlling soldiers and vehicles. You can spawn vehicles as well. So here, let's do that. For the op 4, if this Ifrit is just tearing your guys up, you can control it and kind of ease back. You can ease back on the skill I usually do, so they don't just automatically instantly kill my dudes. But you can control it, and you can drive it around and do whatever you need to do to make the scenario cool for your players. At least that's what I like to use this for. So now I'm in control of the game. Like this. I can change the driver's seat if I want to. If I can't get this thing to just go where I want it to go, which happens all the time, I can go ahead and control this. Stop right here. Now, if the gunner saw that blue 4 guy, he would start shooting with its AI. And then I tap Y to return back to the Zeus interface. So now I can be a real jerk, and let's say create a NATO. We'll do the slammer up armored, and he's not going to like that Ifrit sitting out there, so hopefully he'll engage. Now this spawned with a crew, so once again, if I wanted to spawn a tank for my players to use, I would go to empty, go to NATO armored, and drop a slammer, and that's there we go. Maybe it didn't miss it. The one went right through it actually. And then I can go ahead and give him the order to move up, and he will do so. Now there's the edit commands over here on the left as well. Edit just basically shows me everything that I've spawned, everything I've created, buildings, equipment, all that stuff. And if I double click on Alpha 1-2, which is this squad, which is actually just the tank, I can change their disposition. If they're currently in combat, I can make them relax, I can change their formation, and I can change their name if I want to, their call sign. Then I can go into the individual crew members and I can change their skill and how healthy they are, just like I had done with the other guys earlier. So that's all off of this list. Also lets me, I've got a, let's see, these are dead bodies right here. I like to clean up the dead when it makes sense to increase frame rates. But I can also say, oh, this explosives box, don't need it anymore, gonna delete. Okay. Don't want to have the weather effect. I can change it and go straight to it instead of having to find it. Okay. I'll make it clear and the clouds will disappear magically. So, creating ships, creating static, machine gun positions, Titan launchers, whatever you want to do. Everything that's in the game is available in here. They've also got some compositions built, so you can create little camps. And you can create outposts. Alright, military style outposts already built for you, or you can do your own, because all that stuff is under empty. Structures military, okay, or fortifications, which will let you build, concrete barriers, let you build HESCO boxes, right? These HESCO walls, watchtowers, all the cool stuff. Unfortunately, right now, you cannot build a scenario, save it, and have your friends come in. You really have to maybe start a few minutes ahead of time and let your friends come in afterward. Or just have patient friends, which I know can be tough. So that's an overview of Zeus. If you like my video, look for more. Like, comment, subscribe, the usual YouTube business. And I will definitely be coming out with a video showing you me creating a more involved scenario where I show off some more of the functions of Zeus. But this should be enough to get you started on creating a little scenario for you and your friends to mess around with and really get into what Zeus can do, because personally, I think this is the best thing that happened to video games for a long time. I really hope this becomes a trend. 3D editors, real-time editors, this stuff is very cool. I know a long time ago with like Vampire the Masquerade or Neverwinter Nights, you used to be able to do stuff like this, but those never really grabbed me as much. This I feel is really easy. It doesn't take a lot of effort to really get it going. So play around with it. I encourage you to even just create little scenarios for yourself like I just did. Thanks very much and have a wonderful day, and I hope to make some more videos for you.